Welcome back to the Carolina Boys Sportscast. It's your host C Dog coming to you live with my host Jolly J. What's up, Jolly J?
How's it going, man? How are you, Sea Dog? It's a beautiful day. That's a good thing about some football. Let's hear about it, baby.
All right. So, to start off, as I always say, I'm a Georgia fan till I die. Um, I predicted, like a couple weeks ago, I said, when an undefeated team plays on a Friday, it's going to be bad. It was Florida State played Virginia, and they lost. So I knew that was going to be a bad weekend for the rest of the undefeated teams. Bama played Georgia and beat them. And just like this past weekend, was it Miami played Louisville and they lost to Louisville. Out of all the people, they were I think what 6-0, 5-0, and they lost to a 4-1 team. So I'm like, okay. I was like, well, it's going to be a pretty good weekend. Because like my dogs are 5-1 or they're 5-1 going in. We had Ole Miss. It was number 9 versus number 5 dominant team. So it was a top 10 showdown. We had College Game Day there. We had Jelly Roll made a surprise appearance in Athens, even though
He was everywhere. He was everywhere this week.
he's a Tennessee boy, but boy, that dog ripped the dogs like it was nothing. You had Jason Aldean, you had Bailey Zimmerman there, and Luke Combs there for College Game Day. They had
Yeah.
a concert apparently for the game day. Everybody picked the dogs. It came out to a showdown. Georgia, for some odd reason, we've had a shitty defense season.
hmm
Because it's a young team, so like I stated last time, we're first and second year starters, so pretty much freshmen and sophomores and a couple of juniors. So it's not the dominant team that everybody's used to seeing. They're always a come behind team. For some odd reason, Georgia, except for the Kentucky game and the Auburn or the Austin P and Marshall game, Georgia led the games. But SEC competition, they always came behind. They came behind from Tennessee and beat Tennessee. Um, almost beat Bama. They beat Kentucky. Had a hell of a game with Auburn. And then it came down to Ole Miss, still undefeated coming into Athens. So this is more of a get back game, a revenge game, because it didn't go that way last year in our favor. Ole Miss beat us and made a joke out of us. So it was more like we had to get back. And Gunnar Stockton, boy, let me tell you, that dog is resilient, and he is a dog. He's a country boy. Um, he went 26 for 31 with 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, and one was rushing. He ran for like 23 yards, shook everybody. Like we thought he handed the ball off to the running back, but he took that thing 23 yards untouched. Um, it was like from first, second to third quarter, there wasn't no punters on the field at all. So we were like, where the punters at, because they were sitting there basically resting. Ole Miss would go down there and touchdown. Georgia would fight back, touchdown. All 4 quarters, Georgia came back like they always do. Kirby Smart is known and as a dog for second half adjustments. I don't care what nobody says. Uh, he makes those adjustments like that. You think, okay, you're stopping, and boy, that defense comes out stopping. And right now, we're holding teams to no points in the second half. I think 4 teams now. We were 17-0 in the second half, so Ole Miss didn't score a single touchdown in the second half. Gunner went from 12 for 12 in the second half, perfect for the touchdowns. And he wasn't in the Heisman talk. Carson Beck was, and Carson Beck lost, and he dropped, and now Gunner's number 8 or number 5 in the Heisman race. But he's still got Ty Simpson for Alabama. That dude is playing phenomenal. He is leading the Heisman right now, so he might win it. And Bama's, impressively, ever since that Florida State loss, has beaten every top 4 ranked teams back to back. They beat Georgia, they beat Vandy, they beat Tennessee. Well, I think Tennessee really wasn't ranked then. But that was a good game this past weekend. Don't get me wrong. So it's going to be a lot of shakeups in the coming season because Georgia got to play Florida after this weekend because this weekend's a bye. They go to Mississippi State, come back and play Texas, Charlotte 49ers, and then Georgia Tech, which is still undefeated. So I mean, it's going to be a shakeup.
Well, how do you? So let's jump on this Vanderbilt real quick.
Okay.
So and also I'm jump ahead of myself. So I realize a lot of ranked teams have held their own this weekend. So it seems to the point where I mentioned last episode there was like this big shift, right? So I feel like at this point that everyone's holding their rank. At this time, everyone is holding their rightful rank because they're not getting beat. Some of them didn't get beat by unranked teams. They held up the rank of them not passing. So I would feel like so far, I feel like college football, everyone's kind of locked in right now. I feel like it's to the point where you have your ranks, and Georgia is going to be number 5 for a minute because you have some teams that's in front of them. Like they're going to hold it up. They're going to hold number 5 regardless, and they're going to. I feel like they're going to make the playoffs regardless. But then you had Vanderbilt with LSU. It seemed like it was a tough game, right? So then you have Vanderbilt. You have their college football quarterback. So at this point, I would feel like he's a powerhouse. Okay, he's at this point to where Vanderbilt never really had a team in the past. That's what I meant by the other changes and stuff like that. But they're holding it in, and they're holding their rightful place as number 10.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Vanderbilt's going to go up on the poll right now. So I would feel like they're going to go up at this point. They beat LSU. Come on, it's LSU.
Yeah,
So
I
there's
mean,
definitely powerhouse SEC team.
they're gonna have to prove it this weekend. I mean, because got Missouri coming into Vanderbilt, which Missouri's a good team too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they lost to Bama, but I mean, I honestly think Vandy can do it. That's one of my upset words for this weekend. I think Vanderbilt pulls off the win against Missouri.
Oh
Bama,
yes,
South Carolina. I got UCLA beating undefeated Indiana. Uh, I got Auburn losing to Arkansas. Uh, who else is it? Uh, LSU losing or beating Texas A&M. Because if they beat Texas A&M, Texas A&M ain't gonna be undefeated. And right now, they're the only undefeated team in the SEC besides well, yeah, really the only undefeated team in the SEC right now. So it's gonna be a lot of shakeoff coming up to because we're getting to mid-season where it's starting to break down who's going to the playoffs, who's going to their championship game.
yeah. So how do you possibly feel about of course Carolina boys were always going to rep Carolina teams every single time. But how do you feel about South Carolina going to hold against Alabama? Because South Carolina does surprise people at this point. They do show up in a random area. Like they're Clemson and South Carolina is both 3-4. Okay, both the the powerhouse college football team is not doing good for the Carolina boys at all. So at this point, do you feel like South Carolina could hold against their own against Alabama and kind of surprise a little bit, just a tad, because
I
they did it
mean,
last time.
yeah, they did it last time. They held their own, but they still came out with a loss. This South Carolina defense shocks everybody because South Carolina's got a good defensive front. Don't get me wrong, their defense is good. They made special players on special teams. On defense. I mean, what South Carolina got to lose? They are not bowl eligible now. So they go in and they beat Bama. And that's going to give Bama a second loss, but that's not going to do anything.
I'm not going
Clemson.
to drop them at all. So, like,
Yeah, I don't even think they'll move up. But uh, Clemson ain't got nothing to lose either. They're what 3-4.
yeah.
Another loss, they're completely done. I don't even think they'll be bowl eligible.
Well, I feel they're not ranked in the top 25 at all poll at all. But I would say the same as I would say for their second string quarterback since Cade Klubnik got hurt. Hopefully he'll come back. You mentioned before that he should definitely be able to. It was like possibly a sprain or something like that. But I feel the second string held his own. He got 3 touchdowns. He got 317 yards. Okay, and his completion was 29-47. How that's pretty good. 42, correct. So that's pretty good. That's top numbers though. It's for a second string. Do you feel if are they going to give him a shot even if Cade is not injured like completely? They'll give him a
I
rest
mean,
day or something. Do you feel like they're going to probably overturn it and see if they give him a shot? Do you feel like that could be a thing?
it all depends on how he does during practice. Like if he goes in practice and he just like balls out running, he balls out throwing. They'll probably let him get a starting spot back. They might be like, okay, hey, look, well, he did better than you in these last 2 games. we'll give him a shot. I mean, just like Gunnar Stockton, for instance. Gunnar Stockton goes out and battles. I mean, you got Ryan Pugnisi, or I can't say his last name right. He's a good backup quarterback for Georgia. But I mean, and honestly, we didn't think Gunnar was going to start because Gunnar taking those hits like against Auburn, like he was getting drilled left and right by Auburn. Like Auburn was like popping him on the ground. They were targeting him. They were slamming him on the ground, and he was pretty much like banged up. But Kirby was like, we're not gonna, we don't want to play. We don't want a chance you get hurt. So you don't have to play. He's like, no, I want to be in there with my boys. He said, I want to prove to my boys I got this. And he went out there. He said, I want to get hit. I want to run. So he went out there running. He went out there throwing, getting hit. He shows that, stout. And Kirby, he's good for making second half adjustments. So, I mean, in a way, I think we're good. But as far as Dabo, I don't know what's wrong with Dabo. He does not like opening that Pandora box and giving other people chances. He don't like pulling out of the portal. He don't like doing this. He don't like doing that. At the end of it, you're going to have to do it, whether if you want to or not. I know the Pandora's box is bad to open, but if you got good talent wanting to come in or wanting to move over there, let them.
Well, I would say everyone wanted to go to Clemson at one point, but they didn't allow the portal. So all the good, I feel like all the players that was top tier went everywhere else because of course they can't go to Clemson, but they wanted to go because Clemson was a powerhouse. Like that's that. There was a powerhouse team for even though they're ACC. Usually ACC teams are not powerhouse, but I feel like ACC is definitely having a very big jump, and especially in the power rankings in this situation. It's usually always SEC, but I got to give it to the ACC this year of surprisingly, definitely changing up a lot. Okay, you got Florida State, you got Georgia Tech. It's like it's not.
Well, Florida State's irrelevant now. They done dropped the way down. So Florida State, you can kiss their hopes goodbye. They're not going to get it.
No.
The only real powerhouse for ACC, honestly, is Georgia Tech. If you want to be
Yeah.
honest.
So, yes, I would say it's definitely big of a shift, but I feel like Dabo, he's definitely going to keep his job. Okay. I don't think Clemson operates that way of just firing a coach. Usually, their coaches usually like quit themselves. That's how Dabo got the job in the first place. The coach quit. So, and then Clemson won. They beat Carolina that year. Like right before the game, the coach quit. So, I would say definitely in that situation, they're not going to fire him, but because Tennessee has made that mistake of getting rid of their coaches, because everyone worries about I'm going to lose my job as a coach, but Clemson doesn't work that way. But I would say he has to change up ways because Clemson has a lot of discipline. Like I feel like Clemson has a lot of discipline in the situation, to where there's like a one way, but good thing they keep God they keep God in the mix, and that's perfect. That's what I love the most. So that's what I love the most in that situation. So they just have to. He's gonna have to break up a little bit. I may not be a coach, but it comes down to where a lot of these teams open the portal and they went there, and that's what's happened. So that's what I feel like the most so far, especially in your prediction so far. How do you feel about what's gonna be the 12-man team for so far for the playoffs?
Um,
What is your top five for now?
So right now, like I stated earlier, I believe Georgia is obviously going to be in top five. I don't think they'll get kicked out because of the resume and who the hell they played this year if they can win out. Honestly, I don't want to play Bama again. So in a way, I kind of hope Texas A&M wins out, but I don't think they will because if Texas A&M wins out, they'll be facing or Vanderbilt, they'll be facing Bama in the SEC championship. That way, it'll give us a time to rest, a time to chill, and then do a first round home game. Um, so my top five, I mean, Ohio State. I mean, they don't really play nobody except for Michigan, and maybe Michigan might beat them this year. I don't know. Um, so I can see Ohio State if they win out. I can see. I see Indiana losing, so I don't see Indiana. I
You
see
feel
Bama.
like you feel. What do you feel? I feel like Indiana. Like who do you feel? Who do you feel is going to beat Indiana? Possibly. Who do you feel like? Why would you say Indiana?
UCLA.
UCLA. You think UCLA is going to beat Indiana?
Like, look, okay, their
But
quarterback.
think about their quarterback. Their quarterback is an ex Clemson player. So.
No, the quarterback actually is an ex Tennessee player, Nico.
Oh.
He went. Yeah, but Nico got hurt. And again,
Okay.
like I mean, for like last weekend, the week before that, all the coaches that all the teams that weren't doing too hot fired their coach, and then the intern coach came in, and then the next week when they got off a bye week, they beat a ranked team, and that's what happened. UCLA beat Penn State. I think Penn State was ranked. And they, with a backup quarterback, and they won their last game with a backup quarterback. Who else was it? Penn State fired. Yeah, Penn State fired their head coach. And the shocker that everybody was shocked about was Billy Napier getting fired. That was either a win or lose, and you're still out. So they already had his buyout, right? It was like you're gone. Like you either win this game, or you lose this game. You're gone regardless if you win or lose. The next one I see on the chopping block, which I predicted that last week. I said, watch. I said they're gonna either win this game or lose this game, and Billy Napier is gonna get fired. And sure enough, Sunday morning he was fired. I said Hugh Freeze was gonna get fired too, but he didn't. But
What was the reasons behind firing him? What was I know obviously the record, but what was their main what do you feel like was their goal from that one? What would be the best goal for them for firing him?
he wasn't holding up to their standard. Yeah, they lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to. They had a crappy record. They kind of had a crappy record last year. So it was bound to happen. I think just the boosters were getting tired of hearing everybody complain. Like, look, your Billy was more into calling defensive plays or offensive plays and being a head coach. Like he was doing both. Um, in a way, I felt like they were kind of tired of it and they wanted somebody else to come in. Now, like, if you're losing to teams you shouldn't be losing to, then that's a problem. If you're losing to teams that you expect it, like Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, Miami, but not no like little three GA school, like no um like
Like
Kent
Clemson
State,
happened to Clemson recently, SMU.
like Kent State, like Appalachian State. I'm just throwing them out for an instance. Little bitty schools that you pay to come over here to play a big team. Uh, and I kind of think they were getting tired of it. And I predicted like Auburn, they're gonna he freezes out the door. They saying he's not, but I got a feeling with his buyout, he's gonna get canned. Because there's no way you're gonna mean to tell me you're gonna let the AD keep you after you lose three back-to-back games. You lost to Oklahoma, that's one SEC team. Lost to Georgia. You just lost to I think it was Missouri. Yeah, you lost to Missouri, and now you got Arizona. That'll be four teams you lost, but back-to-back-to-back losses. Go in there, you lose Georgia, lose to Missouri, and now you got Arkansas. And if you lose to Arkansas, you're done. If they don't do it, they'll probably wait until almost the end of the season, or unless they play Bama because that's the Iron Bowl.
Ah. Well, I would definitely say I'm glad you have the knowledge of that situation to where it seems like a lot of coaches are getting fired. Um, it, I know we don't really keep up a lot of the NFL, but I would say comparing that situation about the coach getting fired, you had Tennessee. That's what I feel like the most is that's what they're doing. Everyone's trying to rebuild and just rebrand everything, and that's what I feel like so far is because there's money in college now. There's money in college. You got money, like
And
you got money in
that's what's
college.
ruining college right there, the NIL deal.
Do you feel like strongly? You feel that's definitely what it be is that because I would some of the smaller teams they could be paying out more for their players. Like I don't know statistically on that one, but do you feel like they could be paying a little bit more, and then so they're all these top tier players, or some of them are I would say medium players, is going to these smaller schools because there's more money involved for them.
Well, maybe more money, but they'll be like, "Here, I'll pay you $6 million or $10 million to come play with me and be a starter." And if you go like,
That's good money, man.
well, I'm just hypothetically speaking. Like, you go to like,
Okay,
say, you get recruited to go to Bama. You come in as a 3-star or 4-star. You're gonna have to sit behind. Like, if you already got 5-star quarterback, 5-star running back, 5-star wide receivers, you're gonna have to sit behind them till you can get your shot. But if I'm offering you to come play and be a starter, yeah, of course they're probably gonna jump on it because they feel I can get in early. But how I feel with the NIL deal, they need to get a small percentage of it because you got these kids coming around. Like they'll get the whole big NIL deal and go out and buy Lamborghinis, buy a house. A house is good, But when you're sitting there giving a 17, 18-year-old $6 million or $5 million or $3 million, and they go buy a freaking Lamborghini or Maserati, I mean, a Charger. I mean, Chargers are normal, but I'm just saying, like, that you're looking for trouble. I mean, that's what Georgia's. That's why everybody picks on Georgia because you got all these players that are getting this NIL deal, and then they're getting speeding tickets because they're getting all these fancy cars and they're driving like crazy because you're giving a 17-year-old a multi-billion-dollar car, like a freaking expensive car, as an NIL deal with that money.
Yeah, I would, and also like this. Let's jump over to the MMA side a little bit. Well, of course, I love UFC. UFC has always been the top brand for around the world and stuff like that. But I feel like a Contender Series is where your top prospect is coming from the UFC is going to take over a lot. A lot of these guys you came from, like I mentioned before, of national MMA and everything like that, and also you have, and of course you have Aries that came from there for the Contender Series and won, and they made it to the UFC. But this Contender Series episode was very interesting. Like they had an extra fight. Of course, this guy because he won. We took a short notice. Dana White, of course, gonna give him another shot. Say, hey, let's see what you got. You won the fight, but you're gonna come back into it, and he didn't pull out with it. But I would say that to me, Oliveira, he did amazing. So he was methodical with his punches. It was clean, and he has a very disciplined fighting style. I would say because usually they say disciplined fighting styles you get took down easily, but he did amazing. And then of course I would say I'm gonna hype up the Contender Series of that one for this season 9. They actually made their UFC history for Contender Series, of course, for the most finishes. Okay, and they they definitely did amazing. And like season 9, if you missed it, it was amazing. And a lot of guys that I've seen before that I like met a couple of them that was actually on Dana White Contender Series, and I'm really proud to say that I saw them come up from come regional fight scenes to Contender Series and they win, and that's amazing. Okay, so that's what I feel like is the most, and also here, of course, you got Tennessee, you had Nashville on the ground. It was awesome. It was amazing this weekend. Unfortunately, I missed the card, but I wanted to see it, but I didn't get to. It gets busy, but of course, I heard it was very amazing. I looked at social media pages. It was domination for a lot of fighters and stuff like that, and so it's where it's at. And it was in their gym, and of course, I got to hype them up every single time. National MMA, man. So it's going to be the best thing. Like a lot of them guys are going to pull through. And also you got another regional thing. You got Hub City here as well. Like they're having a fight card this weekend. But I definitely want to jump on the LFA. They're fighting this weekend. Of course, going to be a Tanner versus CR. I definitely butchered your name, but hey, it's fine. But it's amazing. LFA is definitely awesome. It's going to be UFC Fight Pass. Watch it October 25th. So it's going to be amazing. And I love the LFA. It's going to push through. They definitely have top tier guys, and of course they go to the Contender Series as well. And I would say a lot of LFA guys are UFC ready. Like it's basically just like a big team, just like they just ready to pick me up and call me. Okay, so like I mentioned before, the Clarksville card was amazing. A lot of the guys that was on it, but I would say in this aspect that I feel like MMA is definitely the best combat. Like definitely combat sports is the best thing. I would say the top sport for you, college football for you, but it's always gonna be MMA for me, man. So that's what I feel like the most. But after I'm gonna try to get some of the cards ready for watch some LFA fights and definitely talk about some of their fights as well on our next episode and everything. But I would say that definitely got to catch up to it and everything. That's basically what I have for today, man. That's what I say. Yeah, I think for the listeners there, for Sea Dog.
Yeah, we just now got on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, it's definitely. Yep, we just posted it.
Here. Of course, on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, X, as well as Spotify. The more y'all commentate with us, we hope to hear from y'all. Anything you want to add?
Well, definitely. If anybody want to jump on the mic with us, something like that, just shoot us some social media and give us a call, man. Well, this is Jolly J signing off for the night. Amazing night, man. See you later, Sea Dog.
See ya.